Hello everybody and welcome to Front Row Racing. As we get ready to send the drivers, in a few moments we'll be ready to send them anyway, to the Brazilian Grand Prix circuit for round 20 of the World Championship Reserves in Front Row Racing. And your commentary team for the event is going to be myself, Front Row Racing DP, and joining me but also doing the cameras today is Lord JB. So JB, it's Brazil. It's going to be hot and sunny, but what else do you think we can expect from the event tonight?
Well, you're saying it's going to be hot and sunny. If you look outside in England, it's wet, so let's hope it's transferred over to Brazil for tonight and leaving it dry for tomorrow.
Yep, very, very true. Now, I believe you're going to give the viewers a little run through the drivers we've got, the reserve drivers we've got in the event tonight. Yeah,
I will. I think, if I remember correctly, we've only got reserve drivers tonight, haven't we?
At the moment, but I will be inviting in World Championship drivers in a few moments' time.
Okay. So, in the Mercedes, we have Alakibao and Curly Whirly. Normally it'd be Kane Ender and Curly Whirly, but Kane doesn't seem to have turned up tonight. So, this could be a little battle between teammates again. In the Ferrari, you have Danny Railton, Dave the Harp, usual suspects down there. One normally in the middle of the field and one normally darting around at the back. Let's hope they have a cleaner race tonight. In the Williams, we have Tarjam. Very competitive guy. He did well last race, and I'm happy that I'm sat here to commentate over him again. In the Red Bull, we have Ant69, the man who I'm taking his seat for the last two races in the World Series. I don't think I've seen him race. Or, if memory serves me, I don't think I have. So, I'm hoping that he does well. In the Force India, we have RDB. Normally, wouldn't he have a teammate, Dave?
Well, it is actually RDB and Ant69. Well, it's Ant69's first race in the World Championship Reserves. It's RDB's second. I think Farfber may have teamed up with him a couple of weeks ago.
Ah, so this could be a little split between the teammates. In the Renault, we have Drew, the returning man, who has missed a few races due to internet issues, and Jason. No one in the Toro Rosso or the Saubers. Down in the McLaren, we have Emra Ortal. Emra's been pretty consistent, if memory serves me. So he might be nice to see the McLaren up at the top tonight. Something that we probably won't be thinking about for a while now. And that rounds up the grid we have thus far. I did note that someone did join the Red Bull, which is Isaac. He's a new driver. He didn't select his car before we started running through this, but he's a new driver, first race today. I hope he goes well around here.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, there are two drivers that have applied to join the WCR since the last event. There's Isaac and also JC4692, I think it is his name is. It's going to be very interesting to see how those guys get on, obviously being very fresh to Front Row Racing, but also some of the World Series drivers that have decided they're going to take the plunge and give no assists a go. It's going to be interesting to see how those drivers get on, the likes of Ant69 and RDB. I mean, Tarjam, he's a driver that you mentioned. I mean, his first race 2 weeks ago, he was really, really good. I mean, he was involved in an incident in the first lap, I think, but the drive he had after that was phenomenal in Mexico. But then also, there's Curly Whirly, which I'm not sure if you're aware, JB. He was a reserve in both World Championship and World Series last week. He had reserve drives, and he finished second in the World Championship race, and I think the World Series was a little bit more difficult for him, but he's definitely got to grips with no assists from what I've seen so far, but I have probably just commentators cursed him.
That's him getting used to it from the 2017 game.
Could work.
Yeah. If I recall Tarjam's comments after the race, we asked him a question, and his comment of the day was, well, that's Cody's. And I think that tickled all of us, didn't it?
Yeah, well, we did have obviously quite a few technical issues last time out. Hopefully we're not going to have the same problem today. I mean, something that I did discuss with the broadcast teams after last the last World Championship Reserves event was that if we did have another situation like that, then what we would probably do is just pop a one-shot quali on for the drivers, so that we can get them back on the racetrack much quicker for next time out. I am just trying to send out invites to the World Championship drivers to fill any spaces we've got available. There's a good chance I may have missed a few people. If I have, apologies for that, but I am trying to talk while sending invites out at the same time. So those invites have been sent, and I will try and send out another set of invites. But Jack, I mean, if we just have a quick chat about the Brazil racetrack, I mean, is there anything of note or worthy of mention, do you think, about this particular racetrack?
Well, it runs anti-clockwise, so it's different to Brazil and many of the other circuits on the grid. But the thing that really stands out is if it rains. If it rains in qualifying, then the chances are we could have a mixed-up grid, because this track is very unforgiving in rain. If it does a transition period going from being dry to wet in the race, I think that'll be interesting to see who picks the tyres and who picks it to go at the right time. I don't know. I think if memory serves me, the tyre choice here are the super softs, the softs, and the mediums. So pretty basic tyres. But we're hoping that the tyre wear holds up whilst going around the circuit, because this could be an interesting race either way, with the weather or without the weather factor.
Definitely. I mean, it's a track as well that can create quite a bit of confusion for drivers and engineers about which way to go with their setup, because you need straight line speed for that run towards turn 1 and out of turn 3. But at the same time, you need grip in that middle section. And the risk is that you put on too much aeros for sector 2 and you compromise yourself around the rest of the lap, or you go too low on the aeros and
you find yourself sliding off.
Exactly. Yeah. And I am just trying to send out one more round of invites to the World Championship drivers, which I'm just trying to do now to see if I can work out who it was that I may have missed off. So we will send the drivers over to the racetrack in a moment. But I was just wondering, Jack, if you could give a quick explanation as well to the viewers about what is the World Championship Reserves?
Well, the World Championship Reserves, I knew you were going to drop me in there, so I was already preparing my speech, is the feeder series to the World Championship, which is the no assists area of front row racing. So we've got manual gearboxes, no traction control, no braking assists, no automatic braking to stop you from ABS, to stop you from locking up. It's all done much like in normal F1, where you have to do it, and if you mess up, you mess up. There's no blaming the traction control or anything. This is all based on the driver's talent. If a driver does particularly well in this, a team in the World Championship can select them to do a reserve drive, or to replace one of their drivers for a set time, or they can pull them up and have them in the team for the full time, all the way through the season. It's a nice way of doing it. Make sure that everyone gets racing. It's much like having Formula 2 and Formula 1. So we're getting ready to send the drivers over the track. Anything you need to say, Dave?
Not really, other than good luck to the drivers. I mean, I was listening to what you were just saying there, and yeah, you're right. I mean, it is the feeder series, and it has worked very well this season for the World Championship and the World Series. And for anyone that's interested in getting involved in front row racing on F1, come and find the front row racing Facebook page and drop us a message, and we'll get you all sorted out. But I think it's about time we send the drivers over to the racetrack. And we'll have to wait to see as to how they're going to go on. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some wet weather around this track. I mean, I've raced around here a lot, and it is a track where it can rain, and when it does rain, it can rain hard, but at the same time, if it's going to dry up, it can dry up very, very quickly. And looking at the tyres that we've got available,
it
looks like
hard.
it's the softs. Yep, the softs, mediums, and the hards, and mediums and hards being the mandatory tyre, so the drivers have got to use at least one of those. But I would be surprised if anyone's going to use the hard tyre. Yes, they will last a long time, but not necessarily very quick.
Well, we don't have that this season in normal F1, as Pirelli have made the hard tyres too hard. They've said they can't get them up to temperature, which I'd like to see. I know we won't have the option in the game, but I sort of would like to see how tough it is in the next game to warm up the tyres. As many of the drivers in normal F1 have been struggling. Look at the race starts in Baku.
I think though, with real F1, Pirelli have gone way too cautious with the tyre choices. Baku, as you were about to say, a very good example of that. In the fact of they just went way too hard on the tyres. In real Formula One, I don't think they should be giving tyres that give a possibility of a one-stop, or at least shouldn't be able to do a one-stop on the two softest compounder tyres. That for me fully suggests it's way too soft. But yes. Just wondering what weather conditions we've got for the race today.
We've got qualifying is cloudy but dry, so we're going to have a nice dry qualifying session. Whereas the race we have dry right up until nearly the end, where it looks like it's going to start raining, which might be entertaining.
It could be. Now, as a driver, if you're looking at that, I must admit, I think I personally would look at that and go, right, okay, I'm going to go with my dry setup and hope for the best, but also I'm going to use the softest or the fastest tyres available to me. I'm going to completely ignore the mandatory tyres and just go with the fastest tyres that I can use. Because if it does rain, mandatory tyre goes out of the window. Now we have got question of the day. I'm going to quickly put out there, and for any of the new viewers, the question of the day, if you feel like having a crack at the answer to it, just put your answers in the YouTube comments. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to give it a go, and we'll get the answer when we ask the top 3 World Championship reserve drivers who are on the podium at the end. We'll put the question to them as well, and that's when we give out the answer. So today's question of the day is, and Jack, you can have a go at answering this one if you like. Without looking, which FRR video has the most views?
Now, I would answer this, but I already know the answer, and I've got it right already, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. On track right now, we do have Danny Railton. Just to change the subject before I start talking about the actual question, Danny Railton just coming out of the last corner onto the kink. He hit a bit of grass, so coming into turn 1, he had a bit of grass on his tyres, but he's taking it very nicely. He's no hints of lag today, so he's been very smooth coming into the second sector, which is very much like Monaco. You've got to, if you're going to pass here, you have to commit to the pass, or you're going to end up with damage and spinning. But he's doing well. No major dramas right now. He's just coming around. He's on a 117.8 in the first sector. The second sector split is going to be coming up any second now. He rounds this corner. That's a nice corner if you get it right. Second sector split is a 36.9. He will be on provisional pole as he comes round, as he's the first guy on track. But yeah, Dave, what would be the point that you would be most worried at in this track if you cocked up a corner? Pardon my French. Well,
let's see. Danny Railton does go provisional pole. He's going to get bumped off that position by Simo, but he's a World Championship driver, and we're not too worried about him. But the new guy, Isaac, is on a lap at the moment, just going through sector 2, and it's in that sector 2 which are the most crucial corners. The fast right-hander, turn 6 I think it is, and the left-hander is going through now, Ferradura, and then down into Pinarino. 2 corners, and then the Bico de Pato. So 3 corners there that will absolutely make or break a lap around this particular track. But at the same time, if you brake too late for turn 1, your lap's already compromised and it's all over. But Isaac doesn't look too bad at the moment. Sector 1 time's pretty respectable. Sector 2 time's a little bit slower than Danny Railton's was. Oh, we've got a car stationary in the middle of the road with a wheel gone. I think somebody has been into the barrier there.
It was a McLaren. That was Emma Ortle. The notification came up at the bottom saying he retired. I assumed that he'd retired just from the fact that he saw the rain and thought, I'll take the risk. But that is going to put a massive dent in his qualifying.
It definitely is. Okay, let's see. A few drivers have been out on the medium compound tyres. Let's see, Drew and Jason from the World Championship Reserves out there on the medium compound tyres. David Harp, I think, has just had an off at turn 1, though, on his first flying lap, which is not going to help him too much out there. Can't see any damage on his car, though, so he may be able to continue on. Let's see who else have we got out there. Tarjam is just setting up to start a flying lap, and we've both sort of hinted about him. So I don't know if you want to jump on board and we'll see what his qualifying lap is going to be like as he now crosses the line and heads towards turn 1. Hard on the brakes, you've got to be confident here into the centre S's. Compromise one corner to gain in turn 2. Absolutely flat out through turn 3. Get ready to open up the DRS, and it's a short blast down now towards turn 4. A very crucial corner. In the corner you can brake quite late at if you've got the front end there for you. Didn't really carry a lot of speed through the corner, but it's a 17.4 sector 1 time. And now this is sort of turn 6, sorry. This is the corner that I was saying is so crucial. You've got to be confident through that corner. And this is where if you've got higher aeros, you can gain so much time. And then as the track falls away for you, get ready to be on the power early, let the car run out wide, and now be aware of a lock-up. Yep, front right tries to lock up as it becomes unloaded, and now down the hill towards Moo. And JB won't have heard this one, but we call it Moo because if you call it a young cow, you get the name just about right. So through young cow, Tarjam goes sector 2 time for 36.3.
I think that's fastest.
It might be. No, Simo went 36.1, but he may be faster than the WCR drivers, and across the line he goes. He goes third place. It's a good lap time, that. But I was going to mention about the clouds. It's ever so gloomy and cloudy out there today.
Yeah, the temperature must have dropped a bit as drivers may be struggling to keep their tyres at a respectable temperature. Isaac has gone for another one. I don't know what. He seems to be doing a few laps to get used to the car, because his rear end was a bit out a lot through his first lap that we saw. He's in the second sector. He was pretty much sideways through most of the corner. Could that be that he just does not have the traction that he thinks he does?
It could be. He could be pushing the car a little too hard, or as he gets a little bit twitchy on the curb and on the brakes. I mean, he could just be getting used. I mean, with how grey the sky is at the moment, it's possible that track conditions are very cold right now. Whereas if drivers have been practicing, the car's getting very squirmy underneath him. So he may have been practicing where the conditions were a little hotter.
Oh, and again, he goes for a spin.
Sideways. Yep, that is.
There's a little bit too much curb there.
So yeah, it could be. It could definitely be track condition that's giving him a little bit of grief. I like him now. He's about to start a flying lap.
He's going to meet.
At the moment.
I think he's going to. Has he overtaken Isaac, or is he? Yeah, I believe he must have. Oh, Isaac's just gone into the pit. Sorry. So he's coming down into turn 1. I like him out. He's a remarkably fast driver. He's locked up both front tyres. Sorry, and locked up his front left twice. In fact, that's interesting. Could it be that he's just got not enough brake ballast at the front, or is it he's compromising for the second sector?
It's quite possible he's got too much brake bias towards the front, or a little bit too much brake pressure. But again, it could be down to temperatures. If temperatures are lower and the grip isn't there, then it's going to open up the opportunity for more lockups. But at the same time, it could just be that he's pushing a little bit too hard.
Very deep there.
A little bit too late. Because the thing is, if you brake late, you brake harder. If you brake harder, you've got more chance of a lock-up. We'll see if he locks up again, So he is pushing the car more than it's capable of doing right now. Sector 1 time wasn't too bad, though. It was 17.5. Let's see what the Sector 2 time is going to be. Lost a lot of time again with multiple lockups through there. But being in 10th place at the moment, he may still be able to improve on his position. Let's see, is he going to complete the lap? Yes, he is. DRS wide open. Not going for the short run to the finish line, and he doesn't improve. He actually got bumped down a spot.
Oh, his rear end getting very very out of place as he came through turn 1. Oh, those lockups, his tyres are not going to last if he's doing that during the race, is he?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Curly Whirly, just to let you know, Curly Whirly is setting himself up to start a flying lap. He's just heading towards Young Cow now. And I mean, even Young Cow, I mean, getting a fantastic exit out of that corner to start your flying lap can be the difference between 1 to say 4 kilometres an hour at the end of the straight. So you've got to make sure you absolutely maximise every part of the racetrack here. So let's see if he's going to brake late or brake early. He brakes early, bit of a lock up on the front left, but he gets it tucked in quite nicely. Ooh, quite a bit of curb through turn 2, and that may have actually abandoned or compromised his lap. Yeah,
yes, he has. He's abandoned it. We just saw Drew pop up saying that he's retired. Now, could you just check to see if he's hit the wall? Because he did seem remarkably smooth to me when I jumped on him for a second, and no signs of lag. So, could you just check to see if he lost?
Yeah, it's a similar fate to Emirates Autumn. His racetrack has come to an end. Now, obviously, I just want to remind the viewers as well that with this being the World Championship Reserves event, yes, there are a few World Championship drivers on the racetrack, but we are basically going to ignore them for the whole of the event, unless they are battling with a World Championship Reserve driver. Just to let everybody know, at the moment we've got Simo sitting on pole position, A-Cut in second, Miss Hampton in third, but they're all World Championship drivers. So the leading WCR driver is Curly Whirly. Isaac looks like he's leaving the pits again. He's now gone for the medium compound tyre. Alikamal though, he's gone for another flying lap, and he's done a 17.2 sector 1 time. He's still locking up. He's heading through sector 2 right now.
See if I can find him. I was just looking at Danny Railton. He's swapped with Alikamal and gone down to 11th. I'm not sure if oh wait, that's Isaac, that's not the white driver. Do apologise for that. Alikamal. It's interesting. Alikamal's gaining time, but yet he's not. Oh, he's coming in now to change his tyres. I think his tyres are worn away very fast into the pits. Oh, he must be. I'm not sure if he was using braking entry assist there, because he just came in flying.
He wouldn't be able to.
Either that or
event.
Either that or he just came in at speed and just didn't worry about any penalties. I mean, you just get warnings, don't you, if you just fly in?
In qualifying, possibly. Danny Railton is about to cross the line. Does improve, but only to 10th place.
It seems Danny doesn't have the pace around the circuit, unless he's really planning on going for like a long run in the race. Just seems to be struggling down there in 10th.
Quite possibly. Let's see. I was just having a quick look at RDB as David Harper's just jumped up to 12th place. RDB is on his way into the pits, but I want to have a look at Ant 69 to see how he's going to get on out there today. So I'm going to try and keep an eye out for him. Just to let you know who is out on track at the moment from the WCR guys. Let's see. Isaac, Danny Railton, Dave Harp are all still out there. Jason is on his way out of the pits.
Sorry, I was just taking a drink. With 5 minutes left of the session, this is squeaky bum time now, isn't it? It is the time to get your fast laps in now, or just settle with whatever position you get. It's still interesting to see. Still interesting to see Danny Railton. Sorry, what was that, Dave?
I was just going to say, look at the conditions now. The sky is getting sunnier in the sky, the track's getting a bit more sun on it, temperatures are going to improve, potentially track grip is going to improve. So, I mean, you say this is squeaky bum time, it really is, but this is almost like an intermediate tyre session where it's just getting a little bit drier and do you go for slicks at the end. It's kind of like that. Drivers are probably going to have their best opportunity to do decent laps now. You see Jason, he's just starting a flying lap. Very cautious into turn 1, but no lockups at all. Nicely through turn 2 and turn 3. He's already done a sector 1 time with 17.6, so let's see if he can improve on that this time around. 17.5. He
the
does
track
improve a little
is
bit.
getting hotter then.
Yep, getting more grip. The tyres are getting a little bit stickier. But you'll notice, or at least I'm noticing here, that following Jason, I'm going to say it and then he'll do it, he's not locking up.
Wait.
So it could just be that well, he's braking earlier.
Very nice.
He's braking earlier and he's not braking hard. He's looking after those tyres. He may be sacrificing a little bit of time, but if he's going to be starting the race on these tyres, it's going to help him in the long run. Let's see what his sector 2 time is going to be. Anywhere sort of mid 36s should be fairly decent for him. Let's see what it's going to be. 37.6. Could suggest low arrows, which if it is, we'll see what his sector 3 time is going to be. See if he can improve on the 13th place.
Oh, I reckon he's going to go 8th. I'm saying this now. 12. Both of us are wrong. There's a little bit of a lockup. Oh, 2 lockups on the same tyre coming into turn 1. Do you reckon he's just going to belt it now?
He might be doing it. Put a banker lap in and then just absolutely go for it. Some tar jam. He's out there again. He's done a 17.4 sector 1. Not beat his personal best in there. Isaac is also out there as well. He's done a 17.4 sector 1 on the medium compound tyre.
I don't think Tarjam's going to have fun, because I think he's coming up to or he's heading a train of WC drivers. I was just going through the cameras, they all seem to be in a line. I think he's just behind them, so if he gets faster than them, he might end up coming up to a train which will compromise his lap. But with 2 minutes to go, we can get like, what, 2 laps in from now?
Potentially, yeah. We'll get time for one more flying lap and then probably another one as well. Depends on whether we want to do that on these particular tyres. Sector 2 time's not too bad on a 36.4. Let's see if this is going to move him up at all.
No,
stay 6th place, but maybe pushing for another flying lap.
I think he is. He's locked up into turn 1, taking it very nice, hitting the apex, coming round towards the DRS straight. You mentioned going for the shorter run into to the finish line. What did you mean by that? If people don't know about Brazil as a circuit.
Well, I'll mention it in a second. If you just want to jump on board with the live canal, he's done a pretty decent sector 1 time, a 17.3, and I'll mention about the shorter run to the line as well. See what his sector 2 time's going to be. He's pushing hard again. 36.6. That's a little better from him, but he's run wide. That's compromised him. That's compromised him big time. Right, let's get back on board with Tarjam, shall we? And we'll see if we can tell you about the shorter run to the line on this occasion and see if Tarjam has a decent sector 2 time.
I think he will.
What have you got? 36.2.
Very fast.
Okay. Shorter run to the line. Control that wheel spin, and then from this kink now, stay left. Don't cut the pit entry, obviously, but now stay left. Stay to the wall on the left-hand side of the track. It's slightly shorter. It can gain you a 10.42. That's 5th place for Tarjam. If it had moved over a little bit further, we may have taken 4th. So obviously we've got out there Danny Railton. He's out there on medium compound tyres, as we've got about 20 seconds until we get kicked out of the pit lane.
Curly Whirly's going for it like a madman. He's just locked up both front tyres into the first corner. He wants pole position. He's just sat behind Tarjam. These two were having the big battles, not together, but having two big battles, 2 separate battles last race. Though our last race was a pretty sparse on entertainment, it was still... just popped out. Let's see if I can find Curly Whirly quickly. Here he is. It's flying round. See how he gets into this corner. Little lock up on his front right. Oh, a little bit on the grass. But he's still going for it. It's a questionable thing. I don't really know where the corner cuts are on this track, if they register it. Because every time when I do it, I always get corner cuts at different spots. And I was like, well, shouldn't it just be all at one spot? The way Cody's done this. Beg your pardon?
Curly Whirly has done a fantastic sector 2 time, 35.9. I think he's on for finishing off the qualifying session with a fantastic lap here. I've got a feeling he's going to put himself about second, third. He's
going for the shorter one. Run. He's second.
And he puts himself second.
Second for now, though. Let's find... We've only got WC drivers out there right now. So let's follow GT5 King for the last 5 seconds of his lap.
He's boxed himself 8th. Simo was out of fuel. But yeah, GT5 King goes 8th. I mean, Curly Whirly showed there as well. I mean, that shorter run to the line. It doesn't gain you a lot, but if it gains you a 10th, you should do it. Definitely do it. The problem doing that though is if you're going to do like a two-lap stint, 2-lap qualifying run, you don't want to do it on the first one, because if you do, you have to move all the way to the right-hand side of the track to brake for turn 1, and that compromises you. But yeah, for your last flying lap, definitely shorter run to the line. It's a little bit like Canada. I know Sky commentators always go on about Hamilton doing it at Canada, comes past the wall of champions and stays to the right-hand side, taking that shorter run to the line. And it does surprise me on occasion that a lot more people don't do it. But yeah, definitely been put into use by a few drivers today.
Yeah.
In a few moments, we'll be able to confirm the qualifying order, and I'll give you the choice, JB, whether you want to try and go through it or whether you're going to put it onto your co-commentator.
I'll put it onto you, because I've got to remember that I've got to leave at the formation lap, so I'm just memorising it in the back of my head again.
Yeah.
It's there's a big difference just going, because there's no action on track. You might as well just have a chat about the commentators. I watch both commentators, Sky and Channel 4. I prefer Channel 4 because, let's go through the...
Okay, so qualifying order then. Just mention, Aker on pole, but he is a WC driver. Curly Whirly, the leading WCR driver, with 2nd place. And then we've got Simo, Braking Clays, Mr. Hamilton, all WC drivers. And then we've got Tarjam, is a World Championship Reserve driver, followed by Isaac, who's also a WCR driver. GT5 King, who's a WC driver. And we've got Alika out in 9th, the next reserve. We've got Jamie James ran out top 10 as a WC driver. Then we've got Danny Railton, Jason, David Harp, Drew, RDB, all WCR drivers, and then Tempfear and 69. And I think Emerald Ortal was down there as well, but obviously he didn't get a chance to do a full lap from what we could tell with the damage on his car.
Well, here's something I noticed when you were running through that. Tarjam has qualified his fastest lap Isaac has qualified his fastest lap on the medium tyres. Now, looking at the race strategy, it's saying the high tyre management one is, say, mediums till lap 11, then the hards till lap 25, and the mediums again. They are saying there's going to be a short rain spout, though, so it's almost like it's going to be a quick bit of rain, and then it'll go dry again.
Yep. Okay, Jack, if you just want to get ready, press your pause button, and once your car gets moving, you can leave and rejoin by accepting the invite. And if that doesn't work, you can try rejoining via the chat party. And if that doesn't work, I'll fire up a new live stream and panic. So good luck with that one.
I think we're doing well.
Yeah, I mean, the that Isaac perhaps hasn't seen that, or he just used up all of his soft compound tyres in the early part of qualifying. But I'm going to have a quick look at those guys that are outside the top 10 to see what tyres they've gone for. And interestingly, Danny Ray, oh, that's very interesting.
Has he gone on the hards?
He's not the only one. We've got Danny Railton in 11th, Jason in 12th, Dave the Harp in 13th, Drew in 14th on hard tyres. RDB, he's on medium tyres. Then we've got Tempfear and 69 on hards, and Emra Ortal also on the hard compound tyres. So all but one outside the top 10 have gone for the hard compound tyre.
Oh, this will be interesting. Either they're going to try and get that tyre out of the way, pit, and then go onto the faster tyre very early, and then hope the rain comes down like absolute hell, or they haven't noticed the rain.
Yeah, I mean, I think that in this front row racing World Championship Reserves event, I think drivers may have been better off going, right, soft compound tyre, I'm going to put on the soft compound tyre again after that, and I'm going to hope that by the time those tyres are done, the rain's coming. Or do soft compound and then go mediums and hope that that will take you to to the rain. Because that's the key point. If rain's going to come, it's having that your tyres last up to that point. Because if people are doing 2 pit stops compared to others doing 1, that's a massive difference.
Let's continue this conversation after lights out, as all the drivers have lined up now on the grid. I'm going to try and get back on with Curly Whirly quickly. Try and find him. Curly Whirly. So we're on board here with Curly Whirly. The lights are coming on. There's 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 lights. 5 lights are on. And we go green here in Brazil, coming down into turn 1. Curly Whirly has had a brilliant start, but he's almost dropping behind Simo behind him, but he's holding his place. Oh, and he's taken first because the Toro Rosso went too wide into turn 1. But Curly Whirly is still in first. There's a little bit of battles down in the background, mainly WC drivers right now. But you can see there's a big battle. Someone is lagging across the track. He's in the Force India. I think that might be RDB. So let's just jump down the grid quick. Oh, wrong button. Let's just jump down the grid and see. Oh, that was a bit of contact between the Williams and the Haas. I'm not sure who they were. I think that was Tarjam and Mr. Hamilton. Pop on. Yeah. Oh, Tarjam getting very out of place. Oh, contact again. Tarjam is going into the wall, but he's still driving. By the looks of it, he's waiting. Oh, I managed to jump on for that one. Yeah, he's waited for the entire grid to move past. Let's have a look at GT5 King, who's just been passed by Isaac. It is a hectic first lap here. There seems to be a lot of lag dancing around. Or maybe that's just me.
So Curly Whirly's going to come under pressure. I think it may just be you. Curly Whirly's definitely going to come under pressure as he makes the run towards turn 1 for this first time after the start of the race, because he's the only one that's not going to get any kind of slipstream, and he's got no slouch of a driver of Simo right behind him. And Curly Whirly holding his own quite nicely there. Oh, I'm looking
I think that was Tarjam.
Background though. It was Tarjam? No, Miss Hampton 44. I saw in the Haas. Nice and aggressive, but up to 5th place for him. Tarjam is right behind him.
Fantastic racing. Pretty much clean, except for Tarjam's little issues he's had. I may have got the wrong driver, actually. Is there anyone else in the Williams?
I think you may have done. I will have a look, but just to let you know, Isaac in 7th place has got a right train of cars behind him, but he can see a right train of cars just ahead of him. Let's see, I'll try and find out who else is in a Williams at the moment. And 69 has got himself up to 15th place, but he's struggling a little bit on the hard compound tyres.
Oh, I am sorry that I got that wrong. Oh, the lag for me right now is horrendous. There's cars sliding everywhere. I should hope that it isn't affecting the stream as much, but they seem to be. Certain cars seem to be fine, but Isaac coming down into turn 1, I've got an absolutely awful camera angle.
Curly Whirly, get on board with Curly Whirly because he's being attacked into turn 1 by Simo. Simo going all the way around the outside. Curly Whirly's going to have to compromise his exit and his run around turn 2. And now Simo tries to go for the switchback on him, but Acup was there, and now they're 4 wide. They're World Championship drivers. It is all going to end in disaster as they try making it 5 wide down into turn 4. Hold your breath.
Simo cut right over the Williams. I really am not sure what's happening now. I had to go on board with them because I could not pass the opportunity to see someone go 5 wide into turn 4.
Well, what this has done is the battle I mentioned earlier about Isaac and the trainer cars behind him. Isaac is now right on the back of this mad dash of cars. So you're going to have to try and keep an eye on that as best as you can, while I try and keep an eye on everything that's happening elsewhere, because there's a few WCR drivers further down the grid that I've got a feeling aren't going to be on camera very much.
Oh, there's a Williams under attack. I'm trying to find out who he is. It is Tarjam. He was under attack for a brief moment. I think the Haas might have spun. I'm not sure. But I saw him coming under attack by the Haas, but I think that was Mr. Hamilton 44 that has disappeared. No one by now has pitted, so there's not been major damage. Mr. Hamilton has left the session though. I'm not sure if that was lag related or frustration.
Could
but they're coming around. Well, Tarjam is under attack by the Toro Rosso behind him. He's got DRS. He's switching to the outside. Tarjam defending well, moving under braking. The Verstappen rule that has been removed from normal F1, which I assume has been removed from FRR as well. But he's still defending well.
Just having another look at Isaac. Isaac is having a sneaky little look at Jamie James, but Jamie James is making a move on Brake and Clay's just ahead of him. Oh, no contact between Jamie James and Brake and Clay's. That lets Isaac clear through. He's now up into 5th place.
I just cut onto Isaac and I had the wheel camera, so I didn't see anything, unfortunately. But his rear end's still sliding out. He takes that line slightly wider coming into the into Moo. I can't say that without laughing. But
Tarjam
he's going to be...
He's coming under pressure. Tarjam's about to lose a position, I think.
Oh, where are you? There you are. Oh, this is going to be difficult. Side by side. I think... No. Yeah, Tarjam might just have him. Oh, contact, but Tarjam holds it. Oh, he's going to have DRS, though, for turn 1. This is going to be a fantastic race if Tarjam can latch onto that WC driver and hold him. I'm not sure who he's racing. Yeah, it's A-Cut, that's who it is. But he's very gentle. He doesn't want to wreck these tyres at this early stage, which honestly I would be doing with the rain coming.
Well, you're talking about tyres there, and the interesting thing is that Simo, who was running in 2nd place on soft compound tyres, has just pitted and got rid of them. So if they are out of life, that's not very long on the soft compound tyre. It'll be interesting to see if Curly Whirly's going to make a pit stop any moment soon. But if these soft compound tyres are going out of their window, then this is a fantastic opportunity for Isaac, who's in, 4th place on the medium compound tyre.
He is catching up with Tarjam, who I'm still on board with now. He is catching up. I'm not sure how quick he is, but he's right there. See if Tarjam comes into the pits. He's staying. I can't see. Yeah, Tarjam. No, he's not into the pits. He's always cut. But A-Cut ahead of him is into the pits as well.
Yeah, I think A-Cut's done it to potentially cover off Simo. I'll keep an eye on that. So we've now got a battle between 3 WCR drivers at the front: Curly Whirly, Tarjam, and Isaac.
Yes, and Isaac right now is closing. I've got a fantastic camera angle watching Isaac closing. He did get the fastest lap though. Tarjam is locking up all over the place, but Isaac is first race and he's fighting for 2nd. We haven't seen this since Alaikamau in Singapore, have we?
No, that is true. Just to let you know, Alaikamau and RDB are side by side into turn 3. RDB, it's RDB and Simo. Gives Simo a little bit of a nudge, but A-Cut has come out behind RDB, so A-Cut losing a little bit of time. So no, RDB's run wide, unfortunately for him.
Oh dear. And Drew just popped up, but I'm going to assume that's... Oh, little contact there. I'm going to assume that's a bit of my lag as well of him popping around.
Quite possibly. Tarjam is under pressure massively now from Isaac. I think Tarjam's tyres are pretty much coming to the end of their life as Curly Whirly is into the pits. Tarjam takes the lead of the race, but Isaac's going past him around the outside into turn 1.
Fantastic move. He's got the Verstappen bug in that car. He does cut second. Oh, he's not going to give it up though. Oh, spending most of the time off the track there for a second. But is that Emerald Ortal? That's Emerald Ortal behind him. Was that someone else? Oh, God. Oh, Tarjam straight into the wall. Oh, Tarjam flipped. Tarjam is the right way, though. He has lost his front wing. But I think that gives him an excuse to go for the pits. But he will not be happy.
Oh, jump on board with Curly Whirly. Jump on board with Curly Whirly because he's coming out of the pits in a whole train of cars. And I think he's been jumped by A-Cut and by Simo. So Curly Whirly doing the extra couple of laps has been absolutely mugged.
But he's gonna come past A-Cut now. Oh, little contact with Danny there. I think Danny might have just... Oh, who's gone for a slide there? It's not Drew.
That will be Jason, I think. Tarjam is in the Williams. He's got no front wing. He's trying to recover. He had a little bit of contact.
And the other Williams!
More contact.
Whoa, it's Baku all over again.
I think that was A-Cut that he managed to catch there and tag there. Difficult situation for Tarjam, but he needs to try and get back to the pits as best as he can. But what a frantic race we've got here.
It's lap 7. It's just like Baku. We've got Ant69 on the hard tyres. He's in a good position with the hard tyres now. He's coming up behind Jason. I don't think Jason's coming to the pits. No, he hasn't. Sorry. That's always misleading when you're on the broadcast camera. But he's under pressure from Ant69, a very fast driver. as I mentioned at the start of this, I will be taking his place in the WC for the last. Oh!
Just as you say that, he has
Why
a
do I
crash.
talk? What happened there? Did you just lose the rear end?
It looked like, yeah, that's pretty much exactly what happened there. Lost the
Oh.
rear end, unfortunately. Okay, in a moment I'm going to try and recap. I'll try and run through the order for you, just to let you know that Isaac is still leading. He's got 3 seconds to second place. Danny Railton started on the hard tyres. He's actually in a fantastic position at the moment. Third place, 10 seconds off the leader. Let's see, Curly Whirly. How far away from Simo is he? 4 seconds the Curly Whirly has lost overall. But Curly Whirly, I believe, is on the medium compound tyres and Simo's on the hard. But yeah, what a race we've been having here so far. And as you said, we're only on lap 8.
We're on lap 9 now with Isaac leading. But 10th Fear, sorry, is the McLaren that got tangled with Tarjam. I forgot 10th Fear was in this race, honestly.
It wasn't 10th Fear that got caught up with Tarjam. I could be wrong.
Because 10th Fear is running Fernando's car, and Emerald Orton is driving Jensen's, and I'm sure it was Fernando's car that was part of that collision. What a surprise! The McLaren Honda getting into a fight with someone.
Quite possibly. Well, I'll have a run through the order in a second. It actually hasn't noted the collision between those 3 cars. Okay, quick run through the order then. We've got Isaac, a WCR driver, his first race, leading the way. He hasn't made a pit stop yet. 10 Fears in second, but he's a WC driver. And then Danny Railton still hasn't made a pit stop in third. Simo has made a stop, WC driver in fourth. And then Curly Whirly. It's going to be interesting to see where Isaac and Danny Railton come out in reference to Curly Whirly, with him being a WCR driver. Then we've got David Harper, who hasn't stopped yet, in 6th place. GT5 King in 7th, RDB in 8th, Breaking Clay's 9th, Jason 10th, Acut 11th, Jamie James 12th, Alika Mal 13th, Tarjan 14th, Emerald Ortal 15th, and 69 16th. And then we've got Mishampton 44, who unfortunately is out of this race, as well as Drew.
Just to let you know, RDB may not be in 8th for much longer. I jumped on him, and Breaking Clays is right up behind him. He had DRS. He's very close. He's going round into the braking zone towards Sector 2. He's got the place. Yeah. RDB did pop out a little bit coming into Sector 2, so it seems that he must have had a little bit of tyre wear. He's gone flying.
He's checking out the grip levels of over the hill and far away, and if we find Lord Farquhar out over there, in his own short way, tell him, yeah, there's not a lot of grip out here, my friend.
He's clearly not happy with how they're keeping the grass, so he just wants to have a little bit of a mow himself.
Quite possibly. Okay, now the pit lane here in Brazil, it's not the biggest of pit lanes, it's not the longest of pit lanes, which makes for the interesting situation of Curly Whirly I mentioned, how far away from Isaac he is. Well, he's 18.5 seconds, which I think could be around about a pit stop length. So Curly Whirly needs to try and get a shift on so that whenever Isaac pits, Curly Whirly is ahead of him. Let's see, Danny Railton, who's only 4 seconds up the road from Curly Whirly. He must have had a problem somewhere because he was ahead of Simo. So Curly Whirly's got a little bit of work to do to try and catch up to Danny Railton.
He certainly has. He is catching though.
Any WCR driver battles out there at the moment. Let's see, we've got Jason harassing the back of Jamie James at the moment. Haas versus Renault for 10th place.
Yeah, I don't think I think the Haas is on the yellow yellow soft tyres, sorry, whereas Jason is on the hard tyres. So it will be that Jamie James will have to pit soon, whereas Jason will be able to go much longer. They're just coming through my lap car. I can feel them in my spirit.
Jamie James is pulling away, so if you want to have a quick look at RDB, who unfortunately has just lost a place to Alika. RDB testing out the off-track levels of grip again, and again, unfortunately struggling a little bit out there. Let's see, is there anybody else close.
Emerald Ortal's just come into the
69.
pits and he's coming out. What tyres is he on? He's on the soft tyres. So he must have done the strategy of... Yeah. He must have done the strategy of ditching the hard tyres early. Just back onto RDB, is he running a setup with too much aero to go into to work on the straights, and he's just not getting the grip he wants in the second sector? Or is that the other one?
Quite possibly. Quite possibly. I mean,
oh, contact between Emerald Ortal and the Haas. Oh, who was that? I think that was Ant. Or who was that? I'm not sure who that was. I'm just going to see if I can get on board with him.
Jamie James, I believe it was.
Oh, of course it was. It's just, yeah, Jamie James has got no front wing. Oh dear. I did see that that Ant 69 was off the track. He's pulled off. I don't know what's happened with him. He's driving on the track though. He just seems to be letting all of the cars go through.
Well, Ant 69 was using this as a bit of a test session, really. He's very new to no assists, so he's learning a lot, and he's got a lot to try and learn, so he probably doesn't want to get in anybody's way. Just to update you though, Isaac is being caught a little bit now by Temp Fear. Temp Fear being on the hard compound tyre, so I think Isaac's tyres are beginning to give up the ghost a little bit.
He is on the medium tyres.
Curly Whirly is right on the back of Danny Railton, so you may want to keep an eye on that.
Curly. Yes, he's very close. He has caught up. See, now, we just need to show this footage to Ant to say, you need to stay on the track here. And suddenly I'm not getting a drive next week.
Right. You need to have a look at Curly Whirly and Danny Railton, because somewhere near them is going to be Isaac exiting the pits as he makes his stop. He's putting on the hard compound tyre.
He's got DRS.
Curly Whirly can't afford to be stuck behind Danny Railton at all. Oh, and as they come into turn one, Isaac is in the pit lane now.
He's come out. I'm not sure where he's going to come out. Can I get a decent camera angle, please? Is he ahead of Von?
Isaac? No, he's not. He hit the barrier.
Oh,
he's
no!
Quite a long way behind, but Curly Whirly and Danny Railton are side by side.
Curly's taken the position. I'm not sure if Isaac has lost the position to the Williams right behind him. But you can see that Curly... Oh, Danny... Oh, he's looking. He wants that position back, but he's not sure where to get it. As I said in qualifying, if you're going to pass in Sector 2, you have to commit. If you don't, you're just going to go for a spin.
Yeah, I mean, making a move in Sector 2, you've got to be aware that you're going to do it, and you've got to make it clear to the other driver that you're going to do it, because it's become such a late move that if you do it, there's a good chance that they're going to turn in on you, not knowing that you've gone for it. So you have got to be oh, it's raining! It's raining!
Is it?
It is. It's raining down at Young Cow. It is raining, and that is potentially devastating for Isaac, because if he'd have just carried on for a couple more laps, he'd have been able to pop on the intermediate tyre. Oh. However, he is attacking the Williams into turn one.
Let's try and find him. It's GT5 King he wants. I went onto the onboard cameras on the car to see if I can see it. I'm just going to stay on the onboard cameras. I know you can't see much, but I'm going to stay on the onboard cameras to see if it's raining around the whole lap or just around Young Cow.
It's spitting now down at turn 4. I know I'm tired today, but I know I'm not seeing things. It's definitely raining.
It is raining. Isaac's going down the inside. Oh, he's done it. Move. And that is, you made it clear. He said, I'm going to take this position, and GT5 just let him do it. He didn't do too much defending from what I saw, which is possibly what Isaac's seeing right now. I don't know what camera angle he uses. I don't think he'll try Danny in this sector, though. Possibly into Young Cow. But there's Emerald Ortal getting out of the way. Nice and respectfully. Yeah, it is raining around the whole track. The track is getting shinier and shinier. This could be shocking, because I didn't expect it to come this early in lap 15, which is just below the midway point. Isaac, I've got an awful camera angle again. I've gone full IndyCar. I'm looking at everything.
Oh, nice move by Isaac. Round the outside through turn 1. This may give GT5 King an opportunity to attack Danny Rowton as well. But Danny Rowton and GT5 King are both going to have DRS and could attack Isaacs down into turn 4.
Not yet.
Not able to do it though. GT5 King. Nice drift into turn 4. Oh, and Isaac a big switch into turn 5.
He's a rally driver through and through. I was just looking at the looking back camera on the T-cam. You could see the rains coming off it, and just a little thing on the graphics of this game. That absolutely, I like that. The little bits in the graphics. I think that's just brilliant.
I mean, I've said it a few times that one of the best rain models that I've seen, or the way rain looks on a track, I do think Cody's is one of the best for that. Just to let you know as well, I like him out in 10th place. Is in a little bit of a battle with Jason, but there's a gap between them, so it may brew into something soon. But the drivers have got to be so aware, and you mentioned it during or just before qualifying, the drivers have got to time this call right of going on to intermediate tyres, or whether it's going to go into full wet conditions. Now, usually one signal would be that DRS is deactivated. That's usually a sign that it's too wet to have DRS. So it's going to be a tricky situation for the drivers out there, that's for certain. Let's see. Curly Whirly in 3rd place. Does he have a problem? Because he's got Isaac right behind him. Yeah, Curly Whirly's had a problem somewhere.
See now, could he have messed up the second sector? Because in the wet, the second sector is absolutely awful. Even with your, even if you have arrows on arrows on the car, you're just going to end up, if you miss the braking point, you're going to end up like Ant and just going straight off the track. But Isaac going for a slide.
It was sector 3 on the previous lap. It was 2 seconds slower.
He's right up his DRS. He's right up his DRS. He's right up his gearbox. I meant Isaac is going to get him. He may even get him before the safety car line. This is a Max Verstappen drive right here. He's in the right car for it as well. I wonder if he'll save it later on in the lap. He's got him. Oh no, he hasn't.
He's going to go for the switchback though. Curly Whirly was much later on the brakes, so Isaac's going to try and do a bit of a switchback. He's going to have DRS again now out of turn 3. Curly Whirly goes defensive straight away, and Isaac trying to get in that slipstream, but Curly Whirly's got the inside line here, should have the corner. But Isaac's going to try and fight it all the way around the outside, but it's going to get a little bit slippy out there.
I think Curly's just held on to it for another lap. Unless Isaac commits. I am going full IndyCar, and I'm dropping onto the Breaking Case has left the session. I'm dropping onto the T-cam when I can, and I'm going to be looking around and see what the driver can see. I like that. But he's just, that's a better camera angle for this angle. But you can just see Isaac is just, he seems, his rear end is not nice to him, but it's sort of protecting him in this weather. He's going to, are they going side by? He's got him. He just, what is wrong with Curly? Is he? Curly almost going to the back of him. Is Curly trying to eke his tyres out until intermediates?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. When did Curly Whirly pit? I'll have a look. He's been on these tyres since the start of lap 7, so he's been on them 11 laps. Let's see, who was it that started on the medium compound tyre?
Isaac was 1. But I think Isaac has solidified his 3rd place here. I think he's going to keep that for a while.
He's in the pits.
Who's on the pits?
Sorry, no, it's a Ferrari in the pits, Dave the Harp. Dave the Harp is in the pits. This is his first pit stop, and it's for a set of medium tyres.
So it's not wet enough yet. Let's have a poke at him quickly.
It's now raining heavier. I think that may have been a little bit of a mistake on the
There was a Mercedes in behind him as well.
Yeah, I'm going to get on board with them in a moment. I'm having a look at them now, and he's gone for a set of intermediate tyres. That's a Lycamal that's gone for the Inters. I think Dave the Art may have just been stitched up by his pit crew.
Oh dear, the Ferrari's messing up again. What a shame. No, that's... I wouldn't have said it's Inters yet.
Well, maybe not, but Dave the Harp has come out right behind Tarjam. And he's got a Leica Mal not too far behind him, and I'd say, yeah, looking at how a Leica Mal's tyres are going, maybe a little too soon for Inters, but I reckon it's only going to be another lap.
A lap or two, definitely. I mean, Dave just locking up there into the slower corners, but it seems just past here. Oh, that'd be interesting. Oh, Dave's just gone straight on. He's got no damage, but yeah, I think it's time for Inters. He's not happy about that.
It's putting intermediate tyres on. A Ferrari came into the pits as well.
That'd be Danny.
It is Danny Railton, and I think it'll be a set of intermediate tyres. GT5 King is also into the pits. So, I mean, this could be crucial for Curly Wurley now in his battle against Isaac.
Ant's gone.
The fact that if it's too wet now for Isaac's tyres, he's going to lose so much time out there.
Yeah, Danny's into the pits too. Let's have a look at Isaac, see how he's doing. Here he is. He's continued on. Now, this is a mistake to me. I mean, after seeing Danny go straight on, missing a corner, it seems that right now it's Isaac's rear end is everywhere. It's time for Inters. I don't think he's got the gap.
Thing is, though, what you have to remember, JB, is he didn't see the other guy go off. You did, but Isaac didn't.
I know.
And Isaac's obviously just thought, I can do another lap. And and he needs to be into the pits potentially on this lap.
No, he's still going.
He's continuing on.
Now this is Addy because
I know what he's doing.
Do apologise. He's had a massive lag spike.
With 10th Fear's pitted, he's coming out of the pits now on a set of intermediate tyres, and that's going to be very, very close with Isaac. So this is going to be kind of key, but I know what Isaac's doing because, do you want to know something interesting?
Don't tell me there's a tyre glitch.
No, it's not raining anymore on my screen.
It's raining like hell on mine.
Okay, he's spitting a little bit when I go on board. Isaac gone deep in turn 6. Yeah, but I'm just thinking that Isaac may be thinking, right, I think this is only going to be a short spell of rain, it's going to dry up again. I'm not going to pit, I'm going to drive through it. What'll be kind of key is how quickly Temp Fear is or isn't able to drive away from him on the intermediate tyres.
I think the big question is Isaac going to be able to keep it on the track? Because his rear end is everywhere. He's just gone off the track now, coming into the slow left-hander. Temp Fear, again ahead of him. He's a lapped car now, isn't he? But, I think Isaac, Isaac, mate, please, come into the pits. It's just, is he going to continue on? Oh, he's into the pits, he's into the pits. So has he built up a big enough gap to be ahead of Curly Wurley? Where is Curly? Let's have a look at Curly on track.
Curly isn't even at the cow yet. He's making his way down there. Yeah. I don't know if Curly Wurley is going to have gained on him or not.
Ooh. Who are we looking for? Let's have a look on Isaac again still.
Curly Wurley must have had a problem because Isaac's already on his way out of the pits.
Oh dear. This is turning into a perfect drive for Isaac here. He just seems to be doing absolutely fantastically. And again, we can't stress it enough. This is his first drive in front row racing. And he's, right now, for me, he's pulling a like him out. He's absolutely fantastic. He's on control with the car. He knows what he's doing. And he's not compromising for anything right now. But he's... I'm not sure if he keeps going deep or if he's trying to keep these tyres from locking up. Again, if you lock up on these tyres, you are going to go straight on. But he seems just so in control now. Since putting these tyres on, his rear end has calmed down massively. Even to the point now that he isn't like how he was in qualifying.
You may want to have a quick look at Jason, because Jason is still running the hard compound tyre and he's getting hunted by GT5 King on a set of intermediates.
Oh, he's going deep. Oh, I think GT5 King's going to have him around the outside. Very slow corner around that outside. It's just like Palmer in real life. It's a shame that Palmer hasn't done as well, because he has the potential to, but he just always seems to bottle it.
Well, not just that. I mean, what can you do if your car breaks down all the time? I mean, it doesn't matter how good Fernando Alonso is. If his car's awful, he ain't going to do anything. Jason is also being caught now by Danny Railton. Danny Railton is catching him very, very quickly. And I think we'll see Jason heading into the pits fairly soon.
Yeah, I think he will. This lap? Yeah, this lap. There he goes. I think he's called it a little bit wrong. Because came on board in the right time. He slid, nearly taking out the 80 kilometers an hour sign. Let's jump on board with Lycomel. We haven't seen him for a while. He's behind Danny, but he's been hunted by, I think that's A-Cuts behind him. Weren't they former teammates at one point?
Danny and A-Cut?
No, Lycomel and A-Cut.
They may well have been, yeah.
You've gone very quiet, Dave, just to let you know. Maybe it's my internet. But yeah, he's being hunted. I really am. Right now, it's hard to call because the rain is still raining. It doesn't look like it's getting heavier, and yet it doesn't look like it's going to subside. So it could be rain to the end of the race, or rain until 5 laps, and that'd be interesting to see if someone thinks, well, 5 laps left, I'll just keep going on the inters if it starts to dry out, and not risk taking that time out in the pits. But that is all strategy. You can't really choose which strategy you're going to go on, because the strategy right now is having to morph to fit the weather. And hopefully it's not like this tomorrow, because I want to have a decent result.
I've done a lot of races around here in the past in Brazil where it's rained, but it's dried up for the last 4 or 5 laps, and drivers are into that situation of taking a gamble of staying out on intermediate tyres or going for the dry tyres. I like them out. And
was that a little contact?
There was a little bit of contact, yeah, as they're side by side around turn 3 as well. It looks like Aiko has just managed to get through, but
yeah, he has.
Lycomel is going to have to be aware of Tarjam. No, he's not, because Tarjam's having a big drift and slide around
come
turn
on, mate.
3.
Oh, that's
Jason's
a
about
shame.
to pass him as well.
Oh, he's
Jason's
into the wall. Oh, Tarjam's just gone straight into the wall. I'm not sure. I'm just going to... I think that might be calling time. He's got a puncher on his left rear. I think that's going to be calling time for his race for now. Oh, he's retired. Yeah. Oh, dear. What a shame.
It's been a tough old race for Tarjam, that's for sure.
It has. I did just jump onto his rear tyres, rear view, just to try and see how he was. But that was not a good one. He did that entirely himself. He's going to beat himself up about that, though. That's a shame. But, yeah, that's what you can't do around here. You've got to really commit around turn 1 and turn 2, especially in the wet. And turn 3 is going to be awful if it rains tomorrow, because even with traction control, it's going to just, it's not going to be able to hold you down as much as you'd like to. Let's have a look again at Isaac, see where he is. He's on his own.
Well, he's in clear. He's in clear air at the moment. He's not gaining on the leaders, but he's pulling away from Curly Whirly. Curly Whirly's struggling a little bit for lap time.
Now, Curly could have full on gone like, okay, I'm going to hope that it's completely dry and mould my setup around the dry setup, or his dry setup.
Jump on board with Jason. Jump on board with Jason, because he's about to be attacked by Jamie James in the Haas.
The DRS is not active. I didn't see the signal saying DRS was deactivated. Did you?
You don't get it as a spectator.
Don't you? I thought you did. Oh, that was a little bit how do you do coming into the second sector, wasn't it?
Oh, Danny Railton. Oh, Danny Railton just lost the rear end of his car. Unfortunately, A-Cut tagged the back of him, and A-Cut has been spun around. And A-Cut's gone. Retires from the session. Bit of frustration from him on that one, I think. And may have been a little bit of lag from Danny Railton's car as well. But yeah, Danny definitely got a little bit sideways.
So could you just... how about we do question of the day quickly while we're waiting?
Yeah, can do. For any of the viewers who want to have a bash at the guess of this one, we'll put it to the podium sitters at the end of the show. Without looking, which front row racing video has the most views? If you want to have a crack at the answer for that one, probably answer in the YouTube comments, and we'll see if you're right or not. Okay.
They seem to be very sparse on track right now. They seem to be hoping that it's going to dry out. It seems drier coming into Young Cow, but that might just be me. Got a lovely flying camera angle here on Curly Whirly. Just feels like I'm being swung by a mobile right now. He's coming round down into Young Cow. He's had no real dramas, but yet no real, like, good dramas in a way, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, well, it's been an absolutely frantic, action-packed race from the start. Danny Railton is coming under a little bit of pressure. Alikemal is beginning to close that gap in on him, by the way. Jamie James also closing on him as well. Yeah, I mean, it's been an absolutely frantic race early on. I'm not surprised the attrition rate has been quite high. I mean, it will be interesting to see what happens if it does go dry again, because I think if it does go dry, if drivers have got soft compound tyres, chuck them on and so what, 5, 6, maybe 7 lap sprint race to the end.
Yeah, with what we got? We got 9 laps, 10 laps left of this race. I can't see. Well, as you have mentioned before, it dries out very quickly here at Acut has left the session. Sorry, it dries out very quickly here at Interlagos. But it's still going to be a question which tyre would be faster if you chose at the end to change tyres, and it's the whole chance of losing time in the pit lane. You got to really think about your position at the end versus if you can defend on these tyres, haven't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing, if it does begin to dry up and you think, no, I'm going to stay out on the inters, you could potentially lose anywhere from 4 to 7 seconds a lap. I mean, to put it into perspective, Curly Wurley has been lapping in the 123s, whereas, I mean, let me have a look. I'll have a look at what sort of lap times he was doing. Okay, on the soft tyres, he was doing 113s, 114s. On the mediums, he was doing 113s and 114s, but on the inters, he's doing 123s. So you could potentially lose up to 10 seconds a lap if you stay out on inters and everybody else is on the everyone else is on slicks.
Yeah, you could, but then again, if you're good at defending and you know you're going to be able to defend against them, what's the point in losing time in the pit lane?
You can't defend a 10-second timer. I mean, to put it that
Sorry to interrupt you, Dave.
perspective-
Danny Railton is trying to be is defending well against Alikemal. I think that is behind him, but Alikemal tried to go around the outside coming into the start of the second sector, but Danny held him off. I think Alikemal touched the grass a little bit and had to pull off, but it is going to be a frantic run down to turn 1 with these two this close. So yeah, continue, Dave.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, with a 10-second time difference on a lap, there's no defending that. And to put it into perspective, right, if you pit, you could get that pit stop back in 2 laps. So, yeah.
Here's a question as we watch Alikemal come down and Danny defending well. Alikemal, I think he's going to look to the inside. He's made the move, but he's then pulled back. Was that to cool his tyres or either just to have a look and say, hey, I'm here, I'm going to try into the second sector again? We don't know at this point. But here's a question. Is a dry line forming? Because I can see a line, and I'm not sure if it's starting to dry out.
Maybe a drier line, but it's still raining too heavy. I mean, ideally it'd need to stop raining now and be beaming sunshine. Oh, Danny Railton getting very sideways there. Alikemal really applying some pressure. This is the closest battle we've got between World Championship Reserve drivers on track at the moment. The gap between Isaac and Curly Wurley is about 15 seconds. And just to inform you, I see Jason has just let the leaders through. So Jason is a lap down, and he's got a few seconds on Dave the Hall, about 20 seconds on Dave the Hall.
So Jason could, in theory, hold that position. But back with Danny and Alikemal, they seem to be just so perfectly matched through the second sector, and Alikemal seems to just have that speed into turn 1, but Danny is taking that shorter route, or a little bit shorter, but he's still defending well. He just has the speed of a Lycamau. Can you just find out when they both pitted onto the Inters to see if one of them's got the older tyres?
I will in a moment. It's possible that a Lycamau, as Curly Whirly's coming out of the pits, he's done another pit stop then for a set of intermediate tyres. And that is actually for position.
Oh dear.
Oh, I'll tell you, I think the weather may have just changed a little bit now. After that, I was just getting a lot of reflection, but
that's a lot of rain. That is a lot of rain. It's going to go on board. It is getting a bit heavier with the rain, isn't it? Oh, with 6 laps left, is the heavens just opened and popped out a lot of it?
Well, Curly Whirly may have just made the right call, you know. Brand new set of intermediate tyres are potentially considerably quicker than a set of worn tyres. Let's see, when did these guys... Danny Railton...
Sorry to interrupt you. Danny just had a massive slide. And Lycamau tried to go around there, but he's having to defend from his teammate, Curly Whirly. Curly is wanting these two positions. He's taking the less obvious line again. He's taking the karting line coming through. They're going to be nose and tail into turn 1. I'm following the wrong person right now because I can't see anything. So I'm just going to try and get on board with a Lycamau. A Lycamau's been passed. A Lycamau's been passed by his teammate Curly Whirly. Curly Whirly then going to try and go around the outside on Danny Railton. But and they've both passed him.
Working. Yeah, the fresher intermediate tyre has allowed Curly Whirly to make that move. A Lycamau, a little bit of lag there from a Lycamau. But yeah, Curly Whirly was able to get Danny Railton a little bit out of shape that allowed a Lycamau to get through. But yeah, I was mentioning that Curly Whirly being on brand new Inters could be a massive benefit for him. Danny Railton has been on his intermediates only since lap 20. So I would have expected them to be able to go to the end. So I don't know if Curly Whirly had damage and that's why he made his next pit stop. But he has made an additional pit stop and it might work for him.
Yeah, well, I don't think... maybe his setup just eats the tyres up a lot quicker than he would have liked. So he decided he'll take the pit stop or just go for fresher tyres and just try for the best position he can. Because he wasn't going to get any close to Isaac, because Isaac just seemed to be in perfect control of this race. He's pulled away so much. That is the fresher tyres there. He's absolutely flying.
The thing is as well for him, GT5 King is only about 6-7 seconds up the road, so if he can catch GT5 King and pass him, he's in the same position as he was before he pitted, just a little bit further behind. Let's see.
But yeah, he's coming down. I like him getting a little bit out of shape. This could mean that where are you? Danny can get closer. He's visibly closer, but yeah, he still seems to be dropping away in the second sector. So either that's the tyres going off, or his setup is just not as strong to hold him down in the second sector.
Quite possibly. I just want to give a quick shout out as well to RVB, who's still going around the track at the moment in 11th place, and he'll be waiting for this race to be over so he can send Ant69 a message saying, at least I'll finish, mate. So make sure you finish. And if he doesn't finish, you'll be able to say, well, at least I did so many more laps than you. I mean, the rain has definitely got a little bit heavier out there, that is for certain. Just to let everybody know as well that while we're keeping an eye on the World Championship reserve drivers, and we will run through that order in a moment as well, we do have World Championship drivers on the grid. They're using this as a practice session, a test session, and two of them are having a right ding-dong battle, and that's Tempfear and Simo. They're actually having a bit of a hug at the moment, but Tempfear has decided to go and see how wet the grass is as Simo's gone past him. But yeah, Isaac is the leading World Championship reserve driver. He's just having a bit of an off, though. Could be his tyres are wearing a little bit. Yeah, he's struggling out there. I don't know if it's his tyres are wearing or whether it's just that it's got a little bit wetter and it needs to be full wet tyres out there. Curly Whirly, let's see, is he catching up to GT5 King? 4 seconds between them.
Well, we'll see if he can catch him round the next sector. Because right now Isaac is he's sliding a bit. I wouldn't take the risk and whack on the wet tyres with 3-4 laps left to go. I'd keep on the Inters and just grin and bear it.
Well, I'd say no, but at the same time, if the conditions turn enough, yes, be on the wet tyres, because if you're not, your race is going to be over. Somebody has asked on YouTube, Jihad Basani has asked, do your tyres cool down in game if you drive on the wet line? Yes, they do.
Yep.
Especially like intermediate tyres. If the dry line is getting really dry, you need to cool your tyres down, drive on the damp bit. And as JB, my co-commentator, was mentioned a little while ago, while watching Curly Whirly using the sort of the go-karting lines, Curly Whirly now is using the damp patches down the start finish before he moves over to the braking zone, just to keep those temperatures under control. Because these intermediate tyres, they do not like being overheated.
No, they don't. If you overheat the rears too much, like I think Isaac might be getting to that point with his little sliding, you're gonna start spinning. It's like going from driving. It's like driving intermediate tyres on a dry track. You're just gonna be sliding everywhere if you overheat them too much, even.
Yeah, definitely. Also, Jay Addit has also asked what position Bleeding Sunrise is in. Unfortunately, Bleeding Sunrise is not on the grid today. That might be one of the drivers I forgot, the WC drivers I forgot to invite in, but I think he's away this week anyway. I just want to quickly run through the World Championship Reserve drivers that are in the race at the moment, the positions they are in reference to the World Championship Reserve. So Isaac is the leading World Championship Reserve driver at the moment in an overall third place. Curly Whirly is in second of the WCR drivers, overall fifth place. And then we've got Ali Kamal is third. So at the moment it would be Isaac, Curly Whirly and Ali Kamal joining us for a podium chat. Danny Rowton is fourth. Jason 5th, David Harp 6th and RDB 7th, with a few WC drivers sprinkled in between them.
I think RDB did just take a pit stop, so could you just have a gander to see if he's popped on the full wets?
No, intermediate tyres.
Ah, so it may just be that the rain has got bad, but it's bearable enough for the intermediate tyres.
Or it could be that he had a little bit of damage.
Yeah.
To see.
So we've only got 2 laps left of this race. It's gone quickly, hasn't it?
Well, it's not going to be exactly 2 laps. It's about a lap and 2 corners for Isaac. He's just making his way up towards the start-finish line now. So one more lap for him. I'm just going to try and keep an eye on whether Curly Whirly has caught up to the back of GT5 King. You might want to jump on board, because I reckon that might be a little bit of a battle for that final position. It's not final position, but final position that Curly Whirly may be able to gain.
If he gets this position on track, he is on track second. He is second to Isaac. So it's just a little bit. I don't know why I find that a little bit funny. The fact that Curly, who struggled so much at the start, has built up and has dropped back into position behind Isaac.
He didn't struggle at the start, did he? He was fine at the start. It was once he'd made his first pit stop that he struggled.
Yes.
On the medium compound tyre, and then on the intermediate tyre. Just to let you know as well, Danny Rowton coming under pressure from Jamie James into turn 1. Danny Rowton, WCR driver, Jamie James, WC driver. Unfortunately, has
Sorry
lost,
to interrupt you. Curly Whirly's gone for the move into the start of sector 2, and Simo's just won the race, but we're not bothered because I've got to jump on board with Isaac quickly. This is going to be I wish I'd stayed. Can you just have a look at...
I'd stay on board with Curly Whirly.
Okay.
Isaac's going to cross the line regardless. Nothing's going to happen there, but well done to Isaac. He will be the leading WCR driver, but yeah, the action's
Curly's going to get him.
Is.
Curly's got him. For now, he's got him. Is it going to... Oh, a little bit. GT5 King being very good. He could have forced him a little bit more, but he was very good to preserve his 5th place. Letting Curly take 4th. Well, not letting him. He put up a good battle.
Not GT5 King Danny Rowton has got Jamie James spinning him around, unfortunately. Giving a little bit of a tag in Bico de Pato. No, Danny Rowton must have had lag there because he's now appeared miles up the road. Bit of a problem there then. That'll have slowed down Jamie James a little bit, but I mean, what a frantic, hectic, manic, crazy, wet race we've had here in Brazil.
Yes, if we'd just been in Baku and taken out the West and just had this, it would have been last race in real F1.
Yep.
So could you just run through the grid for us?
Let's see. We'll do in a moment. I just want to make sure I get a couple of
Oh yeah.
screenshots of the result here. Quite a few drivers getting DNFs or retiring from the race. I can understand WC drivers, perhaps if it's not going too well, retiring, but there we go. So, overall race winner, it was Simo, second place, Temp Thea. Well, they're WC drivers, so we're not even going to have a chat with them. Isaac is the leading WCR driver in third place, followed by Curly Whirly, and then GT5 King, who's a WC driver, in fifth, and then Like Mal in sixth. And we've got Jamie James, Danny Railton, and unfortunately the rest have disappeared. But yeah, I mean, I think RDB still got to the end, so well done RDB and 69. Shame on you. Coming to get you, I'm sure we'll be having a word with you on that one.
Can I just,
So,
for some strange reason, I just got a trophy.
you got to probably for being lapped so many times as a broadcaster.
I want to have a look now. It's just said car control. I'm just going to have a look. No, I'm not. I'm actually, you know what? I'll look on my phone. I'll look on my phone.
You can have a look afterwards. Okay, so podium sitters then from the WCR drivers. We have Like Mal and Curly Whirly
And Isaac.
and Isaac.
And note you did them in reverse order there.
Yes, I was fully aware.
Why am I doing that?
Full order.
Sorry about the blue screen there. I had a moment where I thought I was going to invite them. But that'll be your job, won't it, Dave?
Yes, it would be. That is why I'm the chat party host. So as we wait for those guys to come and join us, they all may not join us, but we'll see how we get on there.
Well,
somebody has asked as well whether Front Row Racing is going to switch to F1 2017. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Front Row Racing will do. What I would say is check out the Front Row Racing Facebook page. There's a pinned post on there at the moment which has got some important information on relevant to FRR admins and the future and when things will get decided. But yeah, it could more than likely be a league run on F1 2017. So,
I'm just going to mention about the admin post. I won't be applying for an admin post because I've got too much going on right now. But I have openly expressed an interest in staying as commentator. So if you want to keep my wonderful voice in there, please beg them.
Well, I was actually going to say perhaps we should give a little bit of a shout out to possibly your fan that's watching today. Do you want to give her a shout out?
No, I'm not going to give Clem a shout out. I don't think she's even watching, honestly.
Oh well, you will soon find out. Which is, I can't believe you did that. I'm so embarrassed now. But anyway,
she's fine. I've done worse to her. I've done worse to her on stream.
Okay, Curly Whirly, I'm not even going to go there. Curly Whirly has joined us, so we'll just wait to see if Isaac is going to join us as well. I Like Mal usually gets a little bit shy there.
Yeah, he's already left the lobby.
Yeah, so we'll take a moment anyway. Let's see. That's my new saying as well. Let's see. That's what I'm going
instead of just to let you know?
I'm so... Oh no, that's not... It's not just to let you know. I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, that was it.
But I'm so tired today. It's unbelievable. I'm surprised I managed to stay awake. If it had been a dull race, told you I was tired. If it had been a dull race, I probably would have struggled to stay awake on that one. Okay, well, I'm not sure if Isaac has got a headset or a microphone, so he may not be able to join us for podium interviews. I have sent him an invite, and hopefully he will. But we have got obviously Curly Whirly in with us. So JB, if you want to ask Curly Whirly some questions, feel free.
We're back here again, aren't we, Curly?
Yeah, I could see you.
We need to have a chat after this, actually. No, I think most of us are wondering what happened after the first pit stop.
The pace was okay, but as it started to rain, I came across RDB, who was a lap down, and I don't know if he just didn't notice the blue flags or whatever, but he just parked it right in front of me, and I broke my wing. So at that point, I lost a lot of time, and Isaac got past, and yeah, I had to take risks from there on. But um, I felt like at least in the dry, my pace was pretty good.
Yeah, it was phenomenal pace. Great pole lap. Can you just tell us what was how you were feeling when you at the start of the race? Where did you notice it was going to rain later on in the race?
Yeah, I thought it was going to rain a little later than it did because it said it was on like the fifth block, but it came down much earlier than that. So yeah, I don't know what it is with the weathermen in this game, but they're not very good. Um, and then yeah, I mean it was just the start of the race was good. Managed to get the lead. Um, the guys behind me were I had a couple of championship guys behind me. They were a lot quicker, but I was really quick on the straight, so they weren't really able to get past. But then was it Simo and A-Cut? They pitted behind me for the undercut, and I didn't really bother sort of responding to that because I wasn't really racing them. Um, and then yeah, I mean again, the sort of first half of the second stint was good in the dry, but when it got wet, it was a lot more difficult.
Okay. And finally, just completely off topic of this race, what's your stance on the current Hamilton-Vettel war?
um, to be honest, I think the stewarding in F1 has been way too lenient on the drivers for years. I mean, some of the things that drivers have gotten away with in the past couple of years has been pretty ridiculous. So, I would like to see harsher penalties for things like that, but at the same time, I mean, if the stewards aren't going to hand out penalties for a lot of the things that have gone on track, then yeah, I mean, they're sort of at least following on from what they've done before, but I think they need to be stricter on the drivers.
I do know that, especially for this season in official F1, the stewards were instructed by the FIA, which effectively came from the teams, a request to be more lenient than before. Basically, they want to allow their drivers to race, and if it results in contact, then so be it. And yes, if somebody is clearly at fault, then yes, give them a penalty. But the requests were put in place for them to be more lenient, and I can kind of see that. But at the same time, the Vettel Hamilton situation. I mean, there's people that say Hamilton brake checked him.
He didn't.
Well, if the FIA have checked their data and he hasn't touched the brake, he's done nothing wrong. Just because he hasn't touched the accelerator doesn't mean he's done something wrong. He's the lead car, he dictates the pace. Now, he's not allowed to accelerate and brake, but he didn't do that, and I don't think he did touch the brake. Now, Vettel has anticipated what Hamilton's going to do because of the previous restart, and unfortunately has been caught out. Now, losing the damage in the front wing, that's one, but you could argue with Hamilton about that until the cows come home. You have to go down to young cow for that one. But what Vettel did afterwards, I think the stewards on the day were right to give him the penalty that they did. I mean, was it 10-second stop-go penalty?
It was a 10-second stop go.
I think it's the harshest one that they have.
It is. It is the harshest. Yeah, it is the harshest penalties that the stewards are allowed to give out. So they've done everything that they could possibly give. And I was saying this to JB earlier, right? The fact that Vettel stayed ahead of Hamilton is Mercedes' fault.
Yeah, it's relevant.
It was Mercedes' fault that his headrest wasn't fitted properly. Had that not happened, Hamilton would have led and he wouldn't have said anything about the penalty not being harsh enough. So the people that say, oh, the penalty's not harsh enough because he still finished ahead of Hamilton, go to the pub and have a few drinks and forget about it because your argument's null and void. But having said that, what Vettel did, that was bad. Not only was it bad from a racing driver's standpoint, it's bad from an F1 standpoint. It's bad from a sponsor's standpoint. And what is even worse about it is that Vettel, afterwards, probably should have gone, you know what, I turned into him and I shouldn't have done. Instead, he hasn't done that. He's gone, I've done nothing wrong. I pulled up alongside him.
I think the problem with that is that obviously he's got to then go and speak to the stewards, and he can't go and say anything that's incriminating himself to the press before he goes and speaks to them. So I think he knows what he's done, but his hands were kind of tied on that front because he can't go and say like, "Oh yeah, I whacked him," and then go to the stewards and argue something different.
Well, again,
So
saying that,
I kind of understand him there, but I think the main thing for me is that I mean they're saying that they're wanting to be lenient on the rules, and I don't really agree with that. But also some of the things that other drivers have done in recent years have been far more dangerous from a safety standpoint than what Vettel did in Baku,
Yeah.
and a lot of those drivers just haven't gotten any punishment for it whatsoever. So yeah, okay, we can say that like perhaps he should have been
I mean,
disqualified, but then people have been doing stuff on track that is as dangerous or
I mean,
much
that's the
more
thing.
and not getting
Touching on
anything.
that, and touching on something that JB mentioned during this race on commentary that I didn't get a chance to talk about at the time was the Verstappen move, right? The
Yeah.
Verstappen move is a move that should be, and rightly was, last season, banned in F1, and it should be. That is such a dangerous manoeuvre that if it happens at the wrong place, somebody's either going to end up airborne and in the crowd, or something that it could go that bad. Because it's a little bit like, imagine driving down the motorway doing 70 mile an hour plus about 20, and you pull out from the middle lane into the fast lane, but a car right in front of you that you're about to overtake, who's going a slower speed, pulls out in front of you. It's so dangerous, it's ridiculous, and I think it's wrong that the FIA have allowed that move to be used for this season, because it is ridiculously dangerous.
it is, but the reason they've done it is Golden Boy Verstappen. If Max
No,
didn't
I
have
don't-
that move, then he might not have had as many good results as he could have had.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that at all. It's a case of, the argument is, well, I've always done that, and that's the problem. It's something that in go-karts you can do and you can get away with it because there's no danger doing it in go-karting, right? But people learn it in go-karting, use it in go-karting, then they go up a step and they do it there and they use it there, and so on and so on and so on. So when they get to the big time, oh, I've always done that. It doesn't mean that it's right. But the FIA should take a stance of, no, that's wrong. The rule is you make one manoeuvre, right? One defensive manoeuvre. And the rule should be that you don't make that defensive manoeuvre after somebody has made the move to make the pass. Because it is dangerous. I mean, you do that coming out of Eau Rouge like he did on Raikkonen. If Raikkonen hadn't have been on the ball, that's disaster. Because you're talking 200 mile an hour. I mean, some of us remember what happened when Webber tagged the back of a Caterham in Valencia, and how quickly his car went up into the air. And that's a situation where, okay, as a fan, it's exciting, it's dramatic, but it's not if you're sat in the crowd and it's coming at you. And
Or it's not for the
if you're the guy
driver.
in the car.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
yeah.
it's brown pants moment, isn't it?
Exactly. Anyway, we could sit there talking about that all night, and we're not going to.
Me and Curly probably will.
Couple of questions for you, Curly. New guy on the grid today, Isaac. Did you get to see much of him on the track? Any thoughts about how he got on there today?
I think he did well. His pace was good. I think he qualified on the mediums and put in a decent lap. So yeah, that's good to see. I didn't really get much of a chance to sort of battle with him on track because I had the broken wing, and then he got past. And at that point, it wasn't quite intermediate conditions yet. But I realised that, look, I mean, if I try and stay with him, I'm going to lose 5 seconds in the pits anyway. So I made the early pit stop, and that didn't work out. Partly because it wasn't quite inners, and partly because I had to make that that extra time because of the broken wing. So yeah, I mean, I didn't have too much of an opportunity to battle with him, but I mean, his pace looked really good, especially in the race. I think his pace was excellent.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Okay, going to finish off with question of the day, which we'll put out there for the viewers again. Guys, if you want to have a guess at this, get your answers into the YouTube comments, and we'll see Curly Whirly what his guess is going to be. So without looking, you've probably heard this a few times if you've been listening to the broadcast. Without looking, which front row racing video has the most views?
So I actually know the answer to this one because I think we've had this conversation before at some point. So
I'm sure it was
you'd be the
Steve.
person that ends up on the podium.
I think it was
I don't know if
me
anyone
and
else wants to have a guess, but
yeah, I think it was me, you, and Steve had the conversation when we were doing comms together. Was it Suzuka when we did it together?
on comms, I think it was the USA.
Oh, it was the USA. Yeah, so we had the conversation before the stream about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, a little bit of, not really.
So come on then.
Yeah, go on.
Tell me
Alright,
what it is.
So I think the answer is the most viewed video is a video about how to switch a PlayStation from a wireless to a wired connection.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
With 6,502 views it's up to now. And still got people saying, the music's too loud, I can't hear you. But yeah, it still gets me. It's obviously a video that many people have found useful. I mean, if 6,502 people have watched it, then that's obviously 6,502 people that haven't been sure how to get their PlayStation set up for a hardwired connection. But I suppose it's a simple thing, really. I mean, it'd be very easy to just think, oh, well, all we got to do is put the cable in. But no, you do have to do a little bit more to that. But anyway, feel free to check it out. Here's a question for you then, seeing as you two are so cocky and knew the answer. What's the second most viewed video?
Your sex tape. Oh, sorry.
I hope not.
I don't think that's on the YouTube channel, JB.
No, I have no idea. One of the trailers probably. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be like season 1 trailer.
Maybe like season awards or something like that.
No. Oh, I wish it was the season awards. It took me weeks to get that video done, and it's 2 hours long. But I did correctly predict the World Championship champion in that video, though. No, the second most viewed video is a braking comparison on the last F1 game, pad versus wheel, which was very interesting. Yeah, but anyway,
Might check it out.
okay, time to wrap this up, and for me to check YouTube to make sure that certain tape isn't on there for definite. Okay, so next up on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel will be tomorrow night for the Front Row Racing World Series Reserves, which is the assists allowed side of Front Row Racing. Again, it will be from Brazil from about 7:25 p.m. And if the conditions were anything like today, we could be in for another fantastic race. And we did have a fantastic race here today for the first half of the race. For definite, it was absolutely mental out there, but great stuff at the same time. So yeah, come and join us tomorrow. And if you are interested in getting involved in Front Row Racing, come and check out the Facebook page. Just type in Front Row Racing, and it's the one with the Silverstone wing as the main picture. And drop us a message, and we'll get you involved. Although, just to let everybody know, there have been a few new applicants to the World Series reserves, so hopefully we could have quite a fun lobby tomorrow. But feel free to come along and see how Lord JB gets on in his reserves race, and also
test session, you mean?
Sorry, test session. Also see how Curly Whirly gets on tomorrow as well. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and thank you to all the drivers for taking part. Thank you, Lord JB, for working at the cameras today. And yeah, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. Let's all say hello to Claire and see how she thinks JB got on today. And yeah, come and join us again soon. Thanks for watching.